I'm going to call this meeting to order. If you'll please rise. The invocation this morning will be done by Supervisor Ron Gould, and then will you please lead us in the pledge, Supervisor Lingenfelter?
If you'd like to, join me in prayer. Lord, we thank you and praise you for this great nation that you've given us, Lord. We thank you and praise you for the county that you've given us, Lord. We thank you for the experiment in self-government, Lord. Please give us the wisdom to discern rightly the things that would benefit the taxpayers, Lord. Watch over our employees. Many of them have dangerous jobs, Lord. We pray that they will all go home safely to the loving arms of their families. We pray for our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and guardians of space, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion and action to call for an executive session to be held May 6, 2024 at 9 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Official business to come before the board. Discussion of pending or contemplated litigation claims and demands. Mr. Esplin.
Nothing to report to the board, thank you.
Very good. Committee and/or legislative report. Supervisor Gould.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I attended MEC's town hall meeting on a proposed new location for the peaker power plant. It's an interesting location. I'm still waiting to see whether the people that live in that area have concerns with that before I decide which way to go. Also, a disheartening update. My baby granddaughter was life-flighted again to Phoenix with the third set of seizures now that she's had since she was vaccinated. If you'd all keep her in prayers, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Gould. Supervisor Lingenfelter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The only thing that I would update the board and the public on is this Wednesday, those of you that have been following the county's fight against the Greenstone to Queen Creek Colorado River transfer. As people know, we were successful in federal court. The federal court did throw out the finding of no significant impact from the Bureau of Reclamation. The next hearing on that, as far as what to do next, is Mojave County is asking, and the co-plaintiffs that we have here, La Paz County, Yuma County, City of Yuma, we're asking that the court direct the Bureau of Reclamation to do a full-blown environmental impact statement on this first-of-its-kind proposed transfer. That hearing is on Wednesday. I believe Attorney Esplin will be going down to that. I will be driving down to that on my own dime because I think it's important for us to be seen. And hopefully the court will rule, maybe not on Wednesday, but shortly thereafter, that the Bureau of Reclamation has to do a full-blown EIS. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Bishop?
Nothing to report.
Supervisor Johnson?
Nothing, Madam Chair.
Okay, and I have nothing as well. Do we have a lobbyist report from High Ground this morning?
Madam Chair, board members, no report from...
Very good. And a county manager's report?
County manager, no report either.
Okay, very good. Okay, we have a kind of a short public hearing. Three of them are about bingo. I'm going to move them just in case anybody's here, so you don't have to wait through the whole meeting, and then we'll go back to the call to public. Okay, so public hearing 37, I'm opening the public hearing, discussion and possible action, recommend approval of the bingo license application received by Ed Hitcher, post 2555, and direct the clerk of the board to forward the application to the Arizona Department of Revenue. Anyone wish to speak to item 37? Item 37? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Opening up public hearing for item 38. Recommend approval of the bingo license application by the VFW post 6306. Anyone wish to speak to item 38? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Board.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 39, I'm opening up the public hearing. Discussion and possible action to recommend approval of the bingo license application received by James Stanfield, post 10386. Anyone? Item 39? Seeing none, I'm closing the public hearing.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll go back to the call to public now. Pursuant to ARS 38-431, a public body may make an open call to the public during a public meeting, subject to reasonable time, place, and manner to allow individuals to address the public body on any issue within the jurisdiction of the public body. All right. I have Mr. Esposito. Before you come up, Mr. Esposito, you said you wanted to speak to item 15, but it's been pulled by staff. So if you don't, is there anything else you wish to? No, it's pulled.
Removed from the
It's removed from the agenda. It's been pulled. Is there anything else you wish to talk about for call of public? No, you got spared. Well, thank you. Okay, Greg Beffert, please. And then we have Chris Rodardi up.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
For the record, my name is Greg Beffert from Yucca. I'm here to continue my response to Supervisor Angus's apology and why I don't accept it. And I think I left off the last time I mentioned that before when she posted her apology on Facebook, it consisted of the fact that she could have called me an anti-Semite, a Jew hater, and she didn't, and that she would never apologize. Well, and after that, she went on social media and contradicted herself and apologized. Went on to say that I think I left off with, I lived in Israel for a while and I had relatives who died in the Holocaust. Then the last thing that she posted on social media on that apology was, I hope I can listen to what you are saying without constraint of 3 minutes, and I hope you would be open to hearing what it is like to be Jewish in America today. Well, what it is like to be Jewish in America today, you have 2% of the population, which are overrepresented, statistically, anomaly, overrepresented in positions of power in our government, in the media, in education, Hollywood, go down the list. So let's start with that. And let's get back to the use of the term anti-Semitism and Holocaust denier. Those, again, are terms used to shut down dissent of anybody who criticizes or objects to Jewish influence and power in this country. I know it's not popular to say, but I didn't come up here to be popular. And again, this goes to her response. They use this term. And it's not me saying it. Don't believe me. Don't believe a word that I say. Go and do the research yourself. Here's a quote. Anti-Semitic. It's a trick. We always use it to stifle legitimate criticism of Jews and Zionist Israel. That is from Shulamit Aloni, the former Israeli cabinet member and winner of the 2000 Israel Prize, who said that. Not me. Not me. An anti-Semite used to be a person who disliked Jews. Now it is a person who Jews dislike. This is from Dr. Hayo Meyer, a Holocaust survivor. Not from me. Okay. She identified herself as a Jew. And I also want to put in context the comment about me being a mortal enemy. If you understand the religious context and the mortal enemy of the Jews, they were the nation of Amalek. The same nation that Netanyahu invoked at the start of this conflict. The same ones that 4 of you supported in your resolution. Supporting a Zionist state. I'll be back.
Chris Rodarty, and then Armin Stang.
Chris Rodarty, Mojave County taxpayer. Psalm 139, 13 through 16 says, "For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them." There has been much talk about abortion this past week as the state of Arizona upheld an 1864 law criminalizing abortion. I'd like to read for you the thoughts and convictions of Family Bible Church Pastor Peter Ernst in an interview he did with the Kingman Miner. And I quote, "Of course, Christians and people who care about the sanctity of human life are ecstatic. What I find so tragic and frankly reprehensible is when so-called principled people think the higher moral position is the rights of the mother and the convenience of family planning. The rights of babies in the womb, supposedly the most protected and sacred place on the planet, end up being threatened and compromised, and an innocent life is taken, and our cultural moral compass is shaken. In God's providence, a return to common sense and the sanctity of human life has rightfully taken the priority and precedent it deserves. As far as the November elections are concerned, I don't think it will be as negative a ruling as the progressive left would hope. The right to life has been moving to the right for a long time. The Word of God says, He has put eternity in our hearts. We intrinsically know God's heart as we are born in His image. One must work extra hard to cover up what God has made so evident. Any politician running for office who takes the stand for the sanctity of life, as does Pastor Pete, has my vote. And I don't mean hemming and hawing or skirting and squirming around the issue. I don't mean political yammering designed to capture voting blocks. I mean standing tall for God's creation and laws. Exodus 20:13 says, "You shall not murder." Abortion is murder. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Armin Stang, and then Kenny Works. If when I call that you're on deck, would you please try to make your way down so that we can get everybody in? Yeah, right there.
Tape went out on the floor.
Got a short video here for you. Armin Stang of Fort Mojave, aka the German. And you see what we have to put up with the road and everything. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, we have motorcycles racing up and down the road. We have trucks going up and down the road. You see, it's a silver truck what goes into the Rami property, 4201 Valencia, and it comes from the south side of Camp Mojave. And then the next one is the motorcycle coming from the automotive shop, but flying down the road. You know, we have more dust than anything else. I think the road department needs to do their job and do some dust abatement. And the sheriff's department needs to start writing tickets. You know, I haven't seen a sheriff write a ticket in eons. You know, every time we call, it is, "Oh, we didn't see it." What is a sheriff good for then? You know, then we need someone else in office to take care of the problems. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kenny Works, and then Scotty McClure.
Kenny Works, Yucca, Arizona. I have two issues to talk about. The checkered threat to property rights. The way the property is sectioned off, public and then private, public-private, it's a checkerboard issue. And I have this picture here, this magazine, that demonstrates it pretty well. You can see the fence posts are jammed right up against each other, so wildlife can't get through, hunters can't get through, nobody else can get through. If you put a step ladder over it, you're invading the airspace of the private property owners, so you're not even supposed to do that, and this is in Wyoming. Where I live in Yucca, these posts have to be 60 feet apart, 30 feet on each property owner's side. That way wildlife can get through. It's an issue that was set up by the Department of Wildlife here in Arizona. The other issue I wanted to talk about is that use of our private property, it's pretty rare in Arizona. It's mostly public lands. How much of it are we going to use to generate electricity? We've got about 700 acres over there alongside I-40 near Griffith that's going to be producing about 54 megawatts. Right next to it is a natural gas powered plant. Covers about a 640 acre footprint, square mile or so. It's producing 550 megawatts of power. Can't we have whatever minimum amount of power that's going to be produced so that we're not wasting our land? I don't think that 54 megawatts produced only in the daytime and then stored at a battery shed that they're building at night. I think that if we can have 650 megawatts produced in one spot, we should have 650 megawatts produced in the other square mile of land that we're dedicating to produce electricity that doesn't benefit us. It goes to the other parts of the country. That's my only issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Scotty McClure, and then John Martell.
Scotty from Bullhead, and that's the second time I've said that on a Monday morning. What a great day it isn't. I was at Staples. I was going to get this laminated and copies of it, and they asked me for my name, my first name, my last name. That's when I started swearing, screw you bastards. Why does Staples need my name, my address? What were they going to ask me next? My social security number? What a way to start off at 8 o'clock in the morning at Staples. I will never go to that place again. So, don't worry, Hildy, I'm not going to leave you out.
This is electioneering, isn't it?
Yes, it starts tomorrow at 5, or tonight at 5:01.
I'm asking our lawyer, is this appropriate for this forum?
If I may, look,
Hold on, hang on.
We respect your First Amendment.
I can't hear you. Okay.
We respect your First Amendment rights. You're welcome to speak on any matter that comes before this board, the jurisdiction of this board. We would just ask that you leave politicking outside of this building. Thank you.
So this election finance complaint that made front news again 2 days in a row, you set this up. I swear to God you did, Hildy. You tell Letman, which you own, to call out Grace Hecht And I swear this is how you make page news. You did that when you guys got 1 million acres taken from you. You set that up with Christian cinema, and you made front page. You know how to set this crap up. You dealt with a communist. And then you tell all the people that you invited there, some CEOs and stuff, you will not ask a question of Christian cinema. Only you or Mayor Biden will ask the questions. I have that from face to face, mouth to mouth, from some of those people that were there. You told them, do not ask a communist Christian cinema any questions. You're very good at getting these clowns. He's already spent $15,000 on signs, and some of them are 10, 12 foot long.
I think this is electioneering again.
Yeah, good.
No, he can speak on what he wants to speak on. It's not that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. McClure. John Martell, Mojave Electric.
Madam Chairman, Board of Supervisors, good morning. I'm here to announce that APCO and MEC have identified a potential new location for our Quick Start National Gas Turbine. The location is in Mojave Valley near King Street and Vanderslice, roughly 4 times the distance to the nearest home than Site A was. This location is located near MEC's 69 kV line and the natural gas lines. APCO has entered into agreements to purchase this property, and they have begun the due diligence process. This process will include coming back to this board to work on the rezoning process for this parcel. All efforts are focusing on this property. We have paused any due diligence work that was being performed on any of the other properties in the area. Just so you know, this is the 15th property we looked at. I want to show you a map of the location here. This is a 1 mile radius of where the proposed power plant is. The nearest residence to this is around 4,960, somewhere around 4,900 and 5,000 feet, depending on the way you do Google Map. And then I have another table here. This is just a table of a lot of the other power plants that have been built in the state of Arizona and one in California. The average distance to the nearest residence in this is 1,380 feet, and the residence within 3 miles, I believe, is over 86,000 people. The nearest residence to the new proposed property is about, like I said, 4,960 feet, and around 2,500 residents. I want to apologize to you guys. I was meant to bring some brochures that Supervisor Gould got at our meeting, but I left them in my office. I'll make sure to get them to your office so you can see them. I really just wanted to thank the Board of Directors and Board of Supervisors and county staff for being patient with us in this very important process that will stabilize energy rates for MEC members. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mac McKeever, then Richard Kingsbury, then Carol Kingsbury. Keep it in the family.
Madam Chairman Angus, members of the Board of Supervisors, looks like John Martell took at least a big part of my thunder this morning, but so I appreciate him being here and announcing the new location. My preparedness this morning was to ask your help in reverting the Site A back to the residential recreational zoning that it originally was. I understand that MEC will have to, or at least my understanding is that they will have to agree to allowing that to revert. Anything we can do to encourage them to do that, I would appreciate it. I also appreciate your time and putting up with us pretty much every week since December, being up here in our bright yellow shirts. And, we were all pretty much rookies at this when it started. We've gained a lot of knowledge in how the process works. And so hopefully that going forward in the future that we can get our life back and not be spending all our Monday mornings, up here visiting you folks. So again, thank you for your support and help in doing this. And we appreciate MEC and their diligence in finding a new location. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Richard Kingsbury and Carol Kingsbury, and then Jerry Grinstead.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Richard Kingsbury. I reside at 2603 Pawnee Trail in Fort Mojave. I am here to respectfully ask you to rezone Site A back to residential recreational as it should have been back in 2020. We know that MEC just said they found a new site, and I feel that that would be appropriate at this time for them to respectively return that to residential site A back to residential as it was supposed to have been originally. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Carol Kingsbury. I live at 2603 Pawnee Trail with my husband that was just here. And I would like to respectively ask you to rezone Site A back to residential recreational as it should have been back in 2020. We've all enjoyed coming and talking to all of you, and I know you enjoy our brightness here every day, but we'd really like to stop and put an end to this matter. So please listen to our requests, and hopefully you will do that, and we can all work with MEC in harmony, and we can be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Grinstead, then Jennifer Esposito, and then Jean Kench.
Madam Chair and Supervisors, Supervisor Gould, thank you. You are a true conservative, and MEC and their chosen candidate should never represent District 5 so they can control District 5. 4.5 months ago, 4 of you changed the lives in Mojave County. You let Mojave Electric Cooperative control you, and you awakened David. Before any of you take a victory lap for the all new and improved Mojave Energy Park, you need to rescind the zoning on the old and not so good Mojave Energy Park. Your vote allowed for the potential exchange of health, safety, property values, and the well-being of Mojave residents for MEC's big money grab. You put our wonderful neighborhood through hell for 4.5 months with your ridiculous approval. We sold our home. You owe, on the record, an apology to our neighborhood and the Fort Mojave community. You also need to ask MEC to remove their ridiculously stupid "We support local" billboards that waste thousands of, as Chief Ted Martin calls it, cooperative money. One of you once reelected, but said you only cared about your own district. You put a moratorium on renewable energy, but voted for a peaker power plant shortly after. Does anybody realize what that sounds like? It's drawing national attention. One of you will retire with a huge blemish on a pretty darn good record. You passionately cared about downwinders, but you did not care about the future air in Fort Mojave and voted yes. Supervisor Johnson, you voted against the rock crushing plant, but you voted for a dirty peaker power plant. If I can finish with final words and a suggestion, it would be care about the people that elect you. You changed lives. What you did by following the directives of MEC and Mr. 1.7 million KWH is at the core of what is wrong with the United States of America. Madam Chair, you should recall the blackmail attempt that was done on Side A. That was wrong. While we love our neighbors and they have become special family, the 4 of you have disappointed us beyond words. You violated our trust. Our next step is to see kids and grandkids and put this terrible and unjust chapter of our lives that the 4 of you caused behind us. It is April and November's coming.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Grinstead. And then Jeannie after Kench.
Good morning, Chairman and Board. Jennifer Esposito, candidate for District 4 County Supervisor. I hate to bring this up, but I put since it came up, I put the definition from Cornell Law School for electioneering on the screen. And there is a statute in Arizona that prohibits electioneering in the inside of a polling place, within 75 feet of a polling place, and it prohibits county employees from electioneering on county time using county resources. If there is a statute that prohibits electioneering at call to the public, please provide that statute to candidate McClure and the other candidates so that they can be clear and read the statute. Thank you. Also, I just want to say that I stand with the Not in Any Neighborhood people, and you do need to fix that zoning to where it should have been. It's not completely your fault because staff misled you and did not do their jobs. So that being said, I would also like to say whatever my husband's going to say on the Chicanos por la Casa. I'm just going to agree with in advance because him and I actually discussed that. We don't normally discuss things at home. And I would also like to state, since we have not rescinded the thing combining call to the public and the consent agenda, that the item for the Bank Street engineering for the flood control problem, I think it's 13. I approve wholeheartedly doing it. I do not approve hiring an outside engineer to engineer it at that, $275,000, I believe, only because Mr. Latosky is more than qualified to engineer that, and we're already paying him. That's his specialty. We need to cut costs, which is why I want to talk about the budget. This morning on the radio, the treasurer's office was taking a victory lap for the success of the deed sale. So I would just like to state again on the record that that's my victory lap. It was my idea to sell off all of the properties, and I had to come and nag this board during the budget discussions to create this revenue stream, because instead of selling off a few deed properties every year, we were sitting on apparently 2,911 properties. It's my understanding most of them have been sold, and the majority were sold above the assessed value, if I'm correct, and I guess we'll find out tomorrow. So I look forward tomorrow at the budget meeting to being vindicated along with Supervisor Ron Gold that we didn't need a tax increase of a sales tax or a property tax. When we have these huge inflated capital projects like $12 million for a courthouse renovation, we need to remind staff they told us they could do it for $5. You need to tell staff, if you said $5, you're only getting $5. Show me what you can do for $5, and then we'll talk. Because we don't have a budget problem. We have a spending problem, and we have a staff problem, and we need to address that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Esposito. Jean Kench?
Good morning, Board. Chairman Angus. This morning's Mojave Minute is about the assessor's progress to prevent deed fraud. Many of you are already aware of the Assessor's Office creating a program called the Assessor's Address Protection Program. The program has been a complete success, and so much so, the Arizona Secretary of State's office has included me as part of their team in working on changing state rules, mainly with strengthening notary procedure to shore up any vulnerabilities in the property conveyance process. I am proud to be called on by the state. We are working on multiple changes to help them, help with the concern, and I'm hoping to see some highlights very soon. As I have stated before, there are multiple angles to approach this travesty of deed fraud conveyance theft. We in the assessor's office wanted to do more. There are multiple angles to allow the crooks for success, thus we need to approach the threat in multiple ways. With that, our office realized that training to recognize a fraudulent deed would be a great tool to attack this horrible act. I'm proud to announce that Mojave will be hosting the first ever deed fraud course taught by Jesse Wolnick, deed fraud expert, attorney, and Don Carroll, criminal investigator from the Arizona Attorney's Office. Experts in the field of deed fraud are coming to Mojave County, and we are excited. With help from Chief Deputy Brett McKee, we have opened up this registration to not only some of our legal department, but also all other assessors across Arizona. We're very excited to host the May 30th training and hope it is just one more step to help eliminate the act of property theft. Thank you again for your time to share today's Mojave Minute.
Thank you very much. That's it for call to public. Before I close it, is there anyone who wants to respond? Supervisor Bishop?
Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to respond to Mr. Martell and thank him for keeping his promise to me. And then I wanted to respond to the MEC people that are here, and just to let you know that I will continue to support gas-powered peaker plants as long as we have a moratorium on alternative energy. Once that moratorium is lifted, then I'll be more free to consider gas-fired plants. But I think it's a big concern in this county, all over this county, for energy needs. We need more energy, and during this moratorium, I feel in my heart for the people. I have to support these peaker plants. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I would like to respond to Mr. Beffert, and correct me if I'm wrong. Our resolution to support Israel's right to defend herself against terrorism passed unanimously. Am I correct in that? I believe I am. Did you vote no on that?
Mm-hmm.
No? Okay, well, I apologize again. I thought it passed unanimously. Okay, so on to the regular agenda. No, actually, we'll go to the consent agenda first. The following items listed under consent agenda will be considered as a group acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion of said items unless a board member so requests. Supervisor Bishop, anything?
28, please.
28. Supervisor Lingenfelter?
Nothing this morning, Madam Chair.
Supervisor Gould?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Number 13.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. And Supervisor Johnson?
Nothing, Madam Chair.
Okay. And staff has requested we pull item 15. So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda minus items 13, 15, and 28.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13. Supervisor Gould.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I am curious why we have to hire an outside engineer for a roadwork or flood control project.
Do we have anyone from who's going to speak to this?
Madam Chair, I can speak to it if you like.
Okay.
This is Tim Walsh.
Okay, Tim. Oh, I thought you were gone.
Not yet.
Okay.
This project here is a project that we received a grant through Senator Kelly's office. This is to address the drainage that we have on Bank Street. Bank Street carries all the drainage, a significant amount of drainage. And then it gets to Gordon and is funneled in front of the high school and has caused a number of issues, early releases and those types of things as it ponds up and really creates a river down Bank Street. So we received this grant through Senator Kelly's office, and basically this is the procurement to hire an engineer to design this for us. The project is quite interesting. Bank Street with the businesses, the underground utilities. There's a significant amount of underground utilities running along that corridor, and the flow design, capturing the amount of drainage that's going to enter the pipes, and then designing it at the proper slope and standards in order to get that flow out to the Mojave Wash. We don't have sufficient staffing to assign an engineer to complete all of that work in a timely manner and to be able to get that project up and running right away. So the amount of topo and topography survey and then engineering, hydraulic modeling and that's required for this project, we don't have sufficient staffing to complete in-house. So that's why we're putting it out to bid.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Sam Elders.
Let me add to what you heard from Director Walsh. As an engineer who's done these projects and understand the complexity that comes with them, Historically, Bank Street has been a concern for both the county and the city. Flows do come through during heavy rainstorms. The complexity of this drainage project, inclusive of the utilities and access to the high school, require a degree of experience and expertise that is better served with a consultant that does this kind of work more frequent and more often. We are, on the other hand, short-staffed. We are, to say the least, limited on engineers. And in order for this project to be successfully delivered, it is, and the fact that the funds are grant funds, allow for the design, it is, in our professional judgment, the best approach to take. Again, our limited engineers, on one hand, and the experience required for such a project, on the other hand, makes this the best path forward, and it's highly recommended. Thank you.
Okay. Supervisor Gould.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Manager Elters, does this, if we hire an outside engineer on this, does it shift the design liability from the county to the outside engineering firm?
As far as design is concerned, the engineer of record is responsible for the design and the performance of such design over the years. So yes, indeed, it would, Supervisor Gould.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 15 was pulled. Item 28, which is to authorize a District 4 project.
Yes, I pulled this because I just wanted to make everyone aware that this is my last and final project. My money that has been graciously awarded to District 4 has been allocated, and I just wanted to go over those projects. Were 7 water improvement projects throughout District 4 in 5 different communities, a mobile health van to serve all of Mojave County, not just District 4. We did the sewer extension in the North Kingman area. The Oatman Fire Department is getting a small vehicle for their department. All the community parks in my district, which I think are 4 or 5, are getting new bathrooms. And last and final would be these improvements to the Mojave County Seniors Center here in Kingman, and they'll get improvements that'll improve the congregate meals and Meals on Wheels program, and will be providing a better space for socializing at the center.
Very good.
Thank you.
Would you like to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Regular agenda, number 30, discussion and possible action to approve or deny appeal of notice in order to abate of assessors parcel number 324-05-098. We have one person signed up to speak, and that would be Ms. Esposito.
Thank you, Jennifer Esposito again. I'm only signing up to speak on this because from the perspective of what was discussed last time, it was not made clear that the gentleman living on the property is not living in the building that needs to be abated. He's actually apparently living on an adjacent property and has really no contact with that property. That wasn't made clear. And the fact that there was in question who the actual current owner was in dispute. So I just want to, make sure that I's are dotted and T's are crossed before these things are brought to you, the board. I know there's been discussion in the past about why we need to pay for Pioneer Title to do research on liens and such, and apparently there is a lien on this property, and that lien owner wasn't notified. And so if everything is not in order, just on technicality, then the appeal should be granted, and maybe perhaps this whole thing should be started over. If anything is going to affect the gentleman that was called up as the responsible party to testify, I think that since we have this wonderful community services department, there should be something maybe provided to help this gentleman. I would not like to see him pushed out on the street and find him as one of many people, begging for donations on the corner of Walmart at Stockton Hill or whatever. I'm not sure of all the details. I'm just saying I don't think that staff brought this properly to the board, and I think that staff should do a better job in the future. Also, I think that we have about 200 properties or something, I keep hearing that number thrown out there, that need to be abated, and I think it's that if this property is in the state that we're being told it is, I think it's an absolute shame and a crime and a poor reflection on development services that it's taken this long to come before the board or to have something done to abate the situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No one else signed up?
Chairman Angus?
Yes.
The applicant, Mr. Reppel, is here up or in the back of the room in case you have questions.
Okay, does anybody have questions? Any comments from the board? Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I was the one that asked that this be postponed to allow the other gentleman that was reflected on Mojave GIS as the property owner to have an opportunity to speak. If he's not signed up to speak, I do hope that the gentleman that spoke last time, it does get help. But with that, I'm going to make a motion that we deny the appeal.
Motion to deny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 31, discussion and possible action to approve the request for American Rescue Plan Act funds from District 2 and 5's allocations split equally for a total of $280,000 for the purchase of electric messaging sign located at the new Mojave County Sheriff's Office substation. Anyone from the board wish to comment? If not, have a motion.
Madam Chairman, something that we may want to consider as we go into this is who's going to have the ultimate control over what message goes on the board. And I think that should be a majority vote of the Board of Supervisors should have the ultimate control over what goes up there.
Not the sheriff.
I think it would be better that it's the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, so can we put that on a future agenda to talk about? Because it's not agendized to talk about.
I'm just looking at it again. I think we can continue this to the next board meeting, and we can add something to that effect to make sure that it's properly agendized.
Can we approve it today and then agendize the message? Because they really are two separate things.
Yeah, you could do that, but I would rather just continue this. I don't see any rush to do it today. Just do it all at the same time.
All right, what's up? What do you think? Supervisor Gould, up to you.
It probably makes it cleaner to work it out before we vote it.
Okay. Your motion is to continue this till next meeting?
I move that we continue it to the next meeting.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 32, discussion and action, approve the following exceptions to the general fund hiring freeze, accounting and office assistant, bunch of different positions that need to be filled. Anyone wish to comment or have any questions for Mr. Cunningham?
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 33, from the county deputy county attorney, approve the attached school, discussion, possible action, approve the attached school immunization and exemptions for Arizona notice and direct Mojave County Public Health Department staff to provide the notice of individuals requesting immunizations from Mojave County Public Health Department clinics. Anyone want to speak to this or have questions?
Madam Chairman? Thank you, Madam Chairman. I looked at what Ryan came up with, and I think that what he's come up with is acceptable.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Could be. I think the public wants to chime in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at him. Okay, oh, this is 33, I apologize. We have Mr. Beffert.
Chairman Angus, while he's coming down, if I could just make a
Sure.
comment. My thoughts on this are, we're trying to represent less government when we can. I think this just adds another form to information that's already out there and available, and parents are responsible for their children. So I'll be voting against another piece of paper for parents to read
Okay.
and sign.
Madam Chairman, to that point.
Yes.
My granddaughter was told that it was meant that she would have to vaccinate that baby for the baby to go to school. So apparently it's not broad-based. And apparently it's not being told at the health department now. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Beffert.
I just want to say that it would have been helpful to have heard the language or the work that Mr. Esplin has done before I make a comment on it, but that wasn't
Well, we have it
available.
in the backup. It's in the backup material.
Okay. Well, in any case, I'm not here to oppose either or that. What I'm here is, again, to continue to talk about the dangers of this vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine. I guess, Supervisor Gould, I'm a little disappointed because I gave you that resolution back in October. And
Madam Chairman.
Yes, Supervisor Gould.
Mr. Beaufort, you then you took your resolution and you made it a condition in your settlement against your lawsuit with Supervisor Angus.
There's no lawsuit with Supervisor Angus.
In your complaint,
Yeah.
the one of the things that you said would satisfy your complaint was that your resolution being moved through the process. I can't be held hostage to that.
That was well before. This was October. She didn't. The complaint against her didn't come until January.
But you did include it in your complaint. I read it in your complaint.
Okay.
I can't be held hostage to people's demands over other issues.
Okay. Whether it came from me or not, did I not cite sources? Did you not agree that what I had written was fine, but it was too long?
Point of order.
Okay, yes, we're really straying off the...
Madam Chair, I'd ask that
yes.
we would stay to what's agendized.
Right, yeah, we're really straying off what is agendized, and I wish you had seen the backup. You can go online anytime, a week and a half before our meetings, and all the backup is there.
Okay. Well, again, my point is that your job, and unfortunately, and I feel terrible for your granddaughter that this occurred, but had it not been your granddaughter and somebody else's granddaughter out here, would we have gotten the attention that we've gotten to this point on this matter? No, we wouldn't have. And so my point is that your job is to interpose. When you know that there is a harm out there, not listening to the CDC or the FDA, because that's your source, that's the health department's experts and their source. So the problem with that is they cannot be trusted. You have no business taking policy recommendations from either one of those organizations. These vaccines have proven demonstrably proven to cause harm, and yet you won't look at that aspect of it. I'm not talking about any other vaccines. I'm not here to dispute that, but that one that has been emergency use authorized and has caused
Mr.
tremendous harm.
Esplin, is a COVID shot part of the list of things that they have to get in early immunization?
I'm not familiar enough with
It is on the childhood
nutrition
vaccine
laws.
schedule, recommendations. Whether it's mandatory or not right now, again, it's going to be one of another 80 that are going to end up being required of kids by the time they're 18 years of age. My point is you have an obligation to pause, to look at this information, to look at the other side. Your health department people do, but they don't, because there's no money involved in that. There's no grants. There's no money involved in that. So I'm asking you, before, another child is injured, they can't make these choices. I'm here speaking for them. Not the adults. I'm here speaking for them. So do the right thing, whether it's my proclamation or not. You could have communicated with me rather than strung me along here saying, well, it's too long, we need to shorten it up, I'll get my secretary back to you, oh, we were sick. You could have done that, is the other thing I'm asking. So that's all I have to say about it.
Thank you.
Just do the right thing here.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Gould?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Wait, is there any, whoa. James Jones, I am sorry. And then Jeffrey Esposito, and then Sherry Mines or Means, I'm sorry. Okay.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is James, of the family of Jones, the sovereign of Mojave. I want to give you some things to think about because it's very important, and my heart goes out to the children. I was one of those children in fourth grade that was damaged. I understand what happens when people have to deal with those kind of things and how traumatic it is because I have a personal experience. But I don't have time to talk about me. I want to talk about some things that'll help you understand that you don't have to put up with an illegal law. Anything that says I have to be vaccinated by law is illegal in an unconstitutional manner. And no law can force my child to be vaccinated, yet it's on the books. So I want you to know that ordinances, codes, rules, and articles are not law. AS statutes are not law. They're color of law. They have to abide by the Constitution when they write a law down there in Phoenix, and they don't do that. The federal Constitution must be interpreted in the light of the common law, the principles and history of which are familiar, known to the framers of the Constitution. The language of the Constitution would not be understood without the reference to the common law. U.S. versus Hom Kim, that's United States Supreme Court ruling. So I'm leading up to something here. An unconstitutional action is not law. It confers no rights. It imposes no duties, affords no prosecution, and creates no offices. It is illegal and an illegal contempt and an incorporative as though it had never been passed. Northern versus Shelby County, U.S. Supreme Court. Davis versus Wilshire, U.S. Supreme Court, where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abridge them. Miranda versus Arizona, U.S. Supreme Court ruling.
Madam Clerk, point of order. What does this have to do with the waiver that we're discussing today?
It damn well does, buddy. So
Excuse me, you're out of order.
I'm not out of order. I'm talking and you're interrupting me. This is important. This is legal portion because you might want to get a personal attention to this because attorneys might be needed in your case.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for what?
For coming and speaking to this item.
I'm not finished.
Okay, go on.
Miranda versus Arizona, the claim and exercise of the constitutional right cannot be converted into a crime. Miller versus U.S., there can be no sanctions or penalty imposed upon one that exercises constitutional rights. The big one here is Mayberry versus Madison. Particular.
Okay, now you're done. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, Mr. Esposito, and then Sherry Mines.
Mr. Esposito, Kingman, Arizona. 1976, I was in the Air Force. The medical, pharmaceutical, industrial complex, with the assistance of the military industrial complex, decided to give us live swine flu virus vaccine. Now, I was young, and they're the medical people, so I'm like, oh my God, whatever you'd want, I trust you. Well, I went to bed with a Bible on my chest. I thought I was dying. People do not understand when they're told to go and get shots. They go to this place and they listen to whatever these people say because they are the gods. Well, they're not the gods, obviously, but they're not going to spend time reading a whole shitload of literature. All right? You need to make it in your verbiage that your people that are delivering these shots need to explain it verbally, eyeball to eyeball. okay? And you need to remove the COVID-19 vaccine. The genetic sequence that was used in the COVID-19 vaccines was created in a computer, not by nature. The COVID-19 vaccines fit the legal description of a man-made biological weapon that is not found in nature. Those who created, promoted, and administered these biological weapons must be held accountable for their crimes against humanity. Many people have been harmed, permanently disabled, and killed by the COVID-19 vaccines. They have suffered damage to their immune, cardiovascular, nervous, liver, kidney, and other systems due to the COVID-19 injections. These injuries are real, not rare. The COVID-19 vaccines were rushed into use based on fraudulent clinical trials. They are not safe. They are not effective. They are not vaccines. They are biological weapons. Their use must be stopped immediately. The concept of public health is deeply flawed. The health of any group is the sum total of the health of the people that make up that group. The unalienable rights of every man, woman, and child must always be respected. You need to, Mr. Esplin, rewrite this and force your staff, which we have a staff problem. It's kind of like DC, the DC swamp, into our local area. The staff runs the show. You people are supposed to run the show. You need to write in your verbiage that those people need to say, Jeff or Mr. Esplin, this is what's going on with the vaccines. You'd only need this to go to school. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you. Sherry Mines?
Good morning, Madam Chairman and Board of Supervisors. Mr. Gould, I give my heart to your great-granddaughter. My name is Sherry Mines. I am a resident of Kingman, Arizona for almost 50 years now. I am here to speak on immunization program and possible exemption form of informing the parents of the Arizona school laws and exemptions and providing notice to individuals requesting immunizations, while highlighting the importance of targeted efforts, increased vaccine, and confidence. This form could possibly put those who are medically unable to receive these vaccines because of medical issues that put them at high risk, because of those who choose not to receive because of personal reasons, probably just because parents don't want to take time off work and take their children to get vaccinated. There is already an invasive increase of meningococcal disease in the U.S. along with measles currently. Meningococcal had its highest record in 2023 of 422 cases since 2014. As of March 25th this year, there is already 143 cases, an increase of 62%. The case fatality rate is 15%. Measles was considered eliminated in the U.S. in 2000. Most importations of this come from unvaccinated U.S. residents. One person can infect 9 out of 10. Unvaccinated individuals, they can be contagious 4 days before the rash and 4 days after. In 2023, 58 total cases. As of March 14th this year, there's 58 confirmed cases already. Healthcare providers should work to ensure students are current. Public health services is to provide a framework for public health to protect and promote the health of all in all communities. You should be aware that having the county telling the parents that vaccines are not required to be given for school admissions when we leave in a border county. California, Nevada, and Utah are all proximity to our state line and could possibly come to your county offices for vaccinations, and those states do not share the same Arizona state law do. The health department should be to promote good health habits, not to deter from them. Everyone should have a fair and just opportunity to achieve optimal health and well-being. Please think carefully about passing this form, as we could possibly have more unvaccinated cases arise to such action. I would also like to see Supervisor Gould recuse himself from the voting, as this was brought into action because of a family member's experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seeing no one else? No, I don't see it. But go ahead, come on up.
Thank you, Chairman Angus and Board. I stand in solidarity with Supervisor Gould for a multitude of reasons, but as far as the draft language of this particular proposal, I would say that it does not go far enough. It needs to state specifically the requirements that in order to attend school, you're only required to get vaccine A, B, C, D, and E, and that the state requirements are not the same as the CDC recommendations. There should be a specific delineation between the two. I think that also it should be amended to include the form that parents can take to the school to receive their exemption. So I think that you need to say you are not required if you take this form and provide the form to them, to the school, and that the requirements to attend school are only for these core vaccines required by the statute. It references that these statutes can be found at. Most parents don't know how to look up the statutes, don't have time to look up the statutes. I think that the language needs to be just a little bit more precise, state specifically the core vaccines required, and then provide the parents with the actual form if they decide to opt out. I mean, despite what might have been inferred about me in the Havasu newspaper as a former veterinary assistant, I actually have done an incredible amount of research on immunology, and I probably have looked at more peer-reviewed science on the subject than anyone currently in this room today. And so for those particular reasons and my background of knowledge on this subject, those are my recommendations on how to amend the draft language presented before you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Gould?
Move that item, first off, Attorney Esplin, any legal reason I should recluse myself from the vote?
I don't see any legal reason to recuse yourself.
Thank you, sir. Madam Chairman, I move that 30?
34.
33. Item 33 be adopted.
33.
Madam Chair, second for discussion.
Yes. Supervisor Lingenfelter.
Dr. Kingsley, could you come down to the podium for a moment, please?
Good morning, Board.
Good morning. So the speakers have, I mean, this problem seems simple, but I'm in favor of more information being put out to consumers, right? To attend school, my question to you is, does the Public Health Department currently have a form that says your children, kindergarten through 12th grade, you're required to have 3 shots of hepatitis B, 4 shots of polio, 2 shots of MMR, 1 shot of varicella, and 5 shots of DTaP. And anything else, you need to talk to your private health care provider, your primary care doctor, to have those discussions, ask your questions about all the other vaccines that are out there, and decide for you and your family if those are going to be appropriate for you. Do we have anything that says anything like that?
Yes, so the exact form, the ones we have previously reviewed, they go through and they mark off depending on their age. The time they come in is going to be varied on each one, but they go through and mark off, provide which one is required, and also if that's asked of our staff, they say which ones are required for school. We have many parents that come in and say that exactly. I only want the ones that are required for school, and then they mark those off, and that's the one that they provide for them.
So, for instance, the COVID-19, they call it a vaccine. I don't think it's a vaccine because it doesn't do the 2 things that a vaccine is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you not be able to get it again, and it's supposed to make you not be able to transmit it. That's what a vaccine does, and it doesn't do either one of those. So can you really call it a vaccine? I agree with that. But that's one of those that they need to talk to their primary care provider to decide for themselves. It's not the government telling you what to do in your healthcare decisions. I believe in medical freedom of choice, individual freedom of choice, and in order to do that, you have to talk to your doctor, right?
Yes, and that's
so this is just more information they're putting out there for consumers to make sure that they're informed and knowing what they're going to be getting themselves into with these shots.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Kingsley, Dr. Kingsley? Okay, so did you make that motion?
Mine was a second for discussion. Just ask a question.
Okay, so you had a second for discussion. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That was 4-1.
They won from my curiosity video. The link down below in the description.
Hello, what's going on?
A little bit garlic, a little bit of ginger.
Hello? Okay, then. All right, so that final vote was 4-1. Thank you. Item 34 from Ron Gould. Discussion of possible. Where's that coming from?
Did we hear from Supervisor Johnson?
Well, I assumed he would have piped up. Supervisor Johnson?
Yes.
Was that
I
an
voted
aye
no.
vote?
It was an aye vote again.
Thank you.
I vote against, is that what he said?
Was it and it was an aye vote in favor of the motion? Okay, very good.
No, it was an aye vote opposed to the motion.
Oh, opposed to the motion. All right. It was a nay vote. Okay. Would it be easier to do it again, or do you get it all down, Laura? Okay, very good. That was 3-2. Number 34, discussion possible action, reconsideration of item 74 from the April 1st, 2024 Board of Supervisors meeting for the purpose of clarifying the granting of an easement as part of the application.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
We might have Director Latosky weigh in on this. Apparently, things got going a little around.
Hello, who's ever putting Hello?
Chairman, I bet it's one of the participants. They haven't put it on mute. It's one of the members on the teams.
Okay, hello, please mute. Okay, keep it muted. Thank you. Okay, so we're looking for Steve Latosky.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Okay.
The issue pertained Unisource Energy had existing utilities in the easement that was originally proposed to be extinguished. The applicant has made arrangements to grant an alternate easement, which is just fine with Unisource Energy, and the resolution has been now amended to recognize the alternate easement granting as a condition of extinguishing the easement that the applicant desires to extinguish. And then there's also a condition, and the applicant is fine with relocating the Unisource Energy utilities that are currently in conflict.
Madam Chairman.
Yes, Supervisor Gould.
Attorney Esplin, do we need to move reconsideration first?
Yes, so reconsider it, and then if it's approved, then you can move forward after that reconsideration.
Okay, so we're just voting on the reconsideration.
Yes.
There's no A and B.
Yeah, and I have seen this in the past where we've drafted it this way, so you can go forward like this. I mean, sometimes we've done the A and the B, but this one, if you want to reconsider, we can, and then move forward. And it looks like what you'll be reconsidering is the denial, right? You're reconsidering the denial.
Okay, so we first need to make a vote on the reconsideration of denial. So,
Madam Chairman, I move that the board reconsider its action where on April 1st it denied this application.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Supervisor Gould. Oh, yeah, we have people speaking. Okay. Is that okay? All right, I have Ivan Betancourt.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Thanks for having the item on the agenda again. I just want to understand the vote today. So would it be recommended for approval for a later meeting, or I guess I just want to understand what's being voted on today a little bit more clearly.
Mr. Esplin?
What they voted on today was to reconsider the item, so they pulled back what they did previously. We're waiting to see if there's a motion to approve it, and I haven't heard any motion yet from anybody saying they want to approve it.
Right, because we're still having some people talking, and then we'll get to that. Thank you. If
Okay.
there's any questions, they'll call you back.
Perfect, thank you. If I may ask, are you the applicant, or are you? Yes, we're the applicant. We're here on behalf of the developer. And it sounds like you want to approve this extinguishment, correct? Correct. And I'm just make to be clear, and it sounds like some changes have been made since the last board meeting that'll accommodate some of the requests of the utility companies? Correct. So, I mean, I think the previous, when it was on the agenda on April 1st, there was maybe some language missing. But we do have some more official approvals from both Unisource Energy and Frontier since that April 1st meeting to say those conditions of approval that Mr. Latosky had stated, that along with extinguishing the easement, we are also granting an easement that, we will relocate any existing utilities to that easement as part of the motion. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Supervisor Gould? Anybody else? Anyone have any questions or comments? Okay.
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
Attorney Esplin, would motion to adopt item 34 be sufficient?
I would say motion to adopt item 34, or excuse me, motion to adopt item 34, which is the adoption of Board of Supervisor Resolution number 2024-081 for the extinguishment of the easement as stated in the updated resolution.
081?
Yes, 2024-081.
The updated.
I assume that Public Works will be updating it to reflect that.
Sure.
Okay, Steve Latosky?
Public Works has updated resolution 2024-081 to represent the new conditions that will make this item proceed.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Latosky? Hearing none?
Madam Chairman, I move that the updated resolution 2024-081 with changes be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 35. This is from Bob Volbracht from the Mojave County Sheriff Adult Detention Center. Discussion and possible action to authorize Mojave County to accept amendment number 6 to inmate hospitalization. It's an IGA with access. Is Mr. Volbracht on the line?
I am, Madam Chair.
Okay, you want to briefly explain this to us?
This is an annual rate increase or rate adjustment for our access agreement. This is, we will file claims with access every time we do any outside medical. Oftentimes there's someone that gets sick that or falls, hurts themselves here at the jail, and we have to send them to the emergency room. Access will pay approximately 90% of that bill, but we have to send that claim to access. And this is their rate increase for this year.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Volbracht?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last item of the day. Discussion and possible action, approve and sign change order number 47 to the Mojave Valley Sanitary Landfill Agreement, authorizing construction of the required expansion of the gas collection and control system. Okay, 36. What's the pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there anything else? Yes.
Did you want to address the proclamation at the beginning?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it is, woo-hoo, National County Government Month. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.